Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Whitney So Pure Gold Brown Ivory, and
Hi, y'all. My name's Roya. I'm here coming to you live in my apartment in Seoul, South Korea.
I am back in the USA. I was in India previously, but 2020 brought me back to the USA. So we just chilling up in Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, to be exact. Girl, how you doing over there? It's morning time for you, right?
Yeah, well, it's the afternoon, so it's daytime here. It's
Okay,
7 p.m. I mean, yeah, 107. Oh, now 108 p.m. What time is it for you?
it's 10:08 actually, and I
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, and you're in Saturday, and I'm in the
yeah,
future.
is
I'm
Saturday,
in Sun.
and you in the future. You Saturday, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I miss being in the future. Now I'm back, and my body, this is taking a toll on my body. Let's say that.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's pretty.
Going back in time.
Yeah. So this week's episode is an ode to 2020. I wouldn't even say an ode, more like a very good goodbye to
We're like
2020.
holla at you.
See you later.
Thanks
Bye.
so much. Thanks for your time. I appreciate.
Deuces.
Like, how would you break up with 2020? Would this be a breakup, like a real sloppy breakup?
You know what? I can't ever recall having a good breakup. So we can just add this into the list. This feels like a year.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't say this is a breakup. This is just, I don't know. Um, Working out of 2020 or watching 2020 pass us by and come to an end. It's like, all right, now we headed into 2021. Like, can you just not mirror 2020? Can you give us something? Can you
Something else, anything.
help us cultivate these seeds that we were forced to plant in 2020? You know,
We planted a lot of seeds this
yeah,
year.
in the world got a chance to plant a lot of seeds in 2020, some type of way. In 2021, I imagine should be a decent harvest. For
I,
we have some
but
questions.
yeah, but to start off and answer these questions, and kind of going back with my experience with 2020. To be honest, my experience with 2020 wasn't the best. I think we've all had our share of misfortunes, but it also was not my worst year of life.
Yeah. So what is good and what is not so good? What is bad? You know,
Yeah.
what is it?
So in the whole of things, 2020 was doable. We're standing on the other side, soon to be. So yeah,
Yeah. I'm glad to allow it to pass.
I'm into that.
Yeah. There you go, sis. Go out right here, right over there. Experiences. We have reverse cultural shock. You want to know something? I didn't experience much reverse cultural shock this time, but I will tell you that it was this space of like integration that I had to do because I'm just not the same person that left here a long time ago. I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm a total different person, and bringing that part of me into this space, it hasn't been hard, but it has been hard. It's been like hard, I guess, in different categories. Hard in the sense of um, finding the space or the environment that I need to be in at this point of my life because I'm fresh, I'm new back. But
mm-hmm.
it hasn't been hard because I am here with my family and I'm comfortable. You know, but the tweak part, it's like the part of it that's connected to who I am and the new me. It's like I I see things differently. I experience things a lot differently, and sometimes it's just hard to be out.
Yeah, it's an adjustment. I did back and forth from Korea to the US during this past year. Altogether, I think I spent about 3 months in the US in 2020.
Yeah.
And I would say, yeah, it's hard to put in words how I felt. Because I agree that it wasn't so much of a culture shock because I have the same expectations as I've always had for the US, and I've experienced it very well. And I've also been back and forth from the US and other countries traveling for a while now. So I knew what to expect, but I think I spent time in Oklahoma and in DC. And then Oklahoma was pretty chill. I was bored out there with the cows and
Girl, you was drawing
the tree.
and started drawing.
Yeah, I was doing by myself because there wasn't much to do. But when I was in DC, I was also chilling at home because of the virus and the numbers and everything. But I did go out to do shopping and different things, and just preparing myself to come back to Korea. And as I did that, how I interacted with society, just the general attitude of people, I felt so soft. Like,
Lost.
I was like, wow, I am definitely not the same person. Like, I am very sensitive to all of these human interactions here, which I don't experience so much
Yeah.
here in Korea. One, there's a huge language barrier. So I can kind of distance myself from people and their attitudes and, their ideas and their energy, so to speak.
Yes.
But when I
But
went back to the US, like, look, I'm tired of this. Also, the visuals were pretty intense for me. My dad lives in Southeast DC, so it's the hood, and I was just tired. I
mm,
was just so tired after the month of being there, from seeing people fighting in the streets to homicide signs looking for. I'm like, I'm tired. Tired.
wow. Look, I feel you on that. It's the sensitivity, like I can understand everything. Like why? I feel you. I kind of felt that way. I mean, I still feel that way too sometimes. Sometimes I get a little anxiety going certain places, knowing that interaction could possibly happen sometimes. But it's getting a lot better because, I mean, it's kind of inevitable. Most places that I'll go here, I will probably see somebody I know, or, some places that I'll go. You'll usually see somebody some type of way. When you're home, when I'm home to that. But go ahead, and then you can segue.
Uh, yeah, just to end, and sorry, we're kind of like breaking up, so it's hard for me to catch when you're ending and starting. But
Okay.
what I want to add right there is I just felt like the social environment of the US is just much more aggressive to me now. Before, I was accustomed to it and I was living in that. And, it's what I've experienced and what I've known. So I was acclimated to it, and leaving and coming back, I no longer was. So it was quite difficult. And I experienced stress and anxiety from like these types of like interactions in
I
the
like
US, in
described it.
American society. Yeah.
I didn't think to use the word aggressive interaction. You know what I mean? Yeah, when you said that, I thought about possibility of whatever type of tension because of the health climate of the world and because of just America vibe, period. But overall, what has the year taught you, though?
You know, this is a long one. But we can get into it. It's a little personal for me, but for the last 2 years, I was living here in Korea and I kind of was being blown by the wind. I was running the streets, honey. I was just out
Not the
enjoying
correct.
my yes, girl, honey. Yes, exactly. But I was just with my world and living in my own reality, and I was not taking care of myself. I was turning up all the time, not like turning middle every weekend. And, I wasn't necessarily satisfied with myself and my life and the situation and working a lot and being stressed from the work culture. Koreans have this society really, balance well, I should say, in reference to work hard, play hard. Like you doing that. You can do that here. So like I've been all about work hard, play hard my whole life. So, I came here and I was running with it. But I needed a break. I was slowly breaking. So I looked at 2020 as my year for solace because I was going to take a sabbatical, so to speak, and go to India and do yoga training and go to Israel right after and go to Europe and travel. So I was really wanting to do some inner healing and soul searching and traveling and just experiencing freedom and just being for a moment. And when 2020 happened, all of that got shut down. And I was left to deal with myself by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And even a very unfortunate series of events for me, I'm actually grateful that I found this place that I'm in now where I'm just more stable. And I can say that I did that myself.
Mm-hmm.
And 20 taught me how to do that. Because not that I couldn't do it before, but I was looking for some external experience. And that experience would have been great and it would have taught me a lot and I would have been able to do a lot of things through it. And it's still me in those experiences. But we have this tendency to think like, oh, well, if I need some like healing or restoration, I should go to this retreat or I should go do this or I need to go do that. Well, I wasn't able to do anything. So I am grateful for what 2020 taught me because I can stand firm in myself knowing that I did that for Roya. I did that for me.
And that's really, it's interesting to hear that because I kind of took a sabbatical on the flip side.
Mm-hmm.
It really, with the pandemic and everything, it changed a lot of things, like being, knowing that I had to choose to just stay in India for however long that I needed to stay there because of visa situations. It didn't scare me. I did feel really, really safe. And that's why I decided to stay. But that was some good time for me. I would say I learned how to rest my body. You know how, like, as artists, we're kind of like all over the place sometimes, just internally? It really
Yeah.
how to rest and be okay resting. Like, it's okay to rest. So I think that's kind of what 2020, that's what 2020 taught me. It taught me how to rest my body and my nerves. Like, it's okay, take a nap. You're sleepy. Just go to sleep. Like, it sounds so simple, but you know, like as an adult, especially a young adult, you feel like you need to be like productive, reading a book or doing this. Like, no, but let me read this book. No, like, go to sleep. Just relax. It's okay to just not do anything sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
20 taught me, I guess, a lesson on being still, but experiencing that stillness like inside of me. Definitely not on the external, but definitely inside.
Yeah, I think the beautiful thing about everything that has happened this year, 2020 just created time that we always have the same amount of time throughout the year,
Would you say
365 days.
time?
Yeah, I mean, time in itself is a social
Yeah.
construct. Like we have the same amount of time, but it's like, how do we use that time? And what does that time look like? And with shutdown and businesses being closed and meetings and entertainment things canceled, we had a lot of time for ourselves, with ourselves, in our own homes, in our personal environments. And that causes you to think about life in a different way. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it, because I think a lot of people walked away with a refreshed outlook on what's important to them and
Values. Yeah.
yeah.
I think everybody had some type of reevaluation. Like, are you gonna are you gonna take the virus shot?
Am I going to get vaccinated for COVID-19?
I don't know.
Mm.
I have to see what the scheme is and just see how they're like marketing it to us.
I plan on doing it one day.
I think eventually, in order to do something, and possibly in order to possibly travel internationally, people might have to take it possibly, but we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I definitely going to be a reality. If we need to travel internationally, I'm sure that's going to be a mandate that people will have to be vaccinated. And I mean, I don't know the future, but I see that as something that's really probable. So we'll see what happens, but I don't have an issue taking that vaccine.
Mm.
Um, I understand why people are hesitant, just because of the time that it took to have this vaccine, and with the history of vaccines and complications that people have had. I'm kind of in that same boat when I think about, wow, like, is this really safe? Is this really good for my health overall? What are the consequences? I consider all those things. However, I don't have a problem taking the vaccine. I'll repeat it because I have taken so many vaccines, and I think vaccines are an important part of society and the world. If not, I probably could be dead from smallpox or tuberculosis or something if we did not take vaccines. Vaccines are necessary.
Are necessary, I believe so. But it's still so soon. Have to.
Yeah, right now there's two vaccines that have been FDA approved. There's Pfizer, BioNTech, and then there's one uh, Moderna. Moderna, I think. Yes, these two vaccines. My mother's actually taken one already. She started her first round. So the vaccine is split up where you have to take two shots, one, and then within 21 to 28 days, you take another one. And that is supposed to protect you almost 90% or more. So, yeah, there's a lot of people that are going through that process now in the States. They've already started, actually. They haven't started here in Korea, but they started December. No, they haven't started here in Korea. There's word that they'll probably March. Know what vaccine they'll administer here. There's another one too, AstraZeneca. And it's similar. And I think that was made by a British company, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, I mean, I the FDA. My trust and hope is not in the FDA. I've just seen too many bad decisions made with that organization. So, and if we look at American history, we can see a lot of times where the health of citizens were not considered in reference to Americans, and smallpox blankets, and what was the Tuskegee? Yeah. Yeah. It's just too much room for error. So I have no qualms with anybody who's hesitant about taking a vaccine. It's completely understandable.
Yeah.
And I want to give it some time myself.
Yes, I definitely want to give it some time and see, you know, just how the process kind of looks. I think people are hesitant because of the time it took to develop it and just kind of how everything just kind of played out. And they're just like, okay, once you get the vaccine, everything is fine. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of, it's too soon, it's quick, but I think this is just the process of what we're experiencing. It's the byproducts.
Well, there's another interesting thing. I think right now, so far, it's going pretty well. There's been quite a few adverse reactions in reference to just people feeling sick, maybe for like a week or something like that, which is normal because that happens with the flu shot in itself. And then there's been quite a few people who've had allergic reactions, and that's not so nice. But you can have a allergic reaction to anything if you develop an allergy to food, to clothing, materials. There's anything you can have an allergic reaction to. So yeah, I just want to give it some time.
Just give it a little minute. I feel you though.
Oh, going back to my mother taking the vaccine, she took it because she's a healthcare worker. Yeah. And I think majority of countries are going to follow suit in the same process of administrating the vaccine to healthcare workers and the elderly, because these people are higher risk and also have more exposure. Yeah. So, with that being said, my mom told me something really interesting. There was a Black woman who helped develop the vaccine. Her name's Dr. Izzy Corbett. She's from North Carolina, and she was one of the leading scientists. And she was a part of working on it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Some representation there. I'm for it.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. So I just want to throw that fun fact out there.
Drop those chemicals in those test tubes.
Baby.